Hey, thanks for joining my workout today. Today we have a total body kettlebell workout. This is my workout. I like to put them on envelopes sometimes. But you're not limited to a kettlebell with this workout. If you have a dumbbell at home, you can use that as well, and I'll show you how to do both. But we've got a total body workout today, mostly focusing on strength. So let's get started with our warm up. We are pulling our knees up to our chest, and on that leg that's stationary, that leg that we're balancing on, imagine squeezing your glute every time you bring your knee up. So with the knee that you're hugging, you're squeezing with your arms, and this leg that's stationary, you're squeezing that glute. It's going to help you with your balance, and it helps wake those glutes up. We're going to be working them today. We're going to be working everything, actually. Exhale every time you raise, and really squeeze that knee like you're trying to squeeze it up to your chest, even into your armpit if you can have that range of motion. So really trying to open the hips up here. And now we go into our Frankenstein. So on the exhale, we tap our toe. Try to get your leg up as straight as you can. Breathing out. Again, that stationary leg you're squeezing with your glutes. And exhaling every time you raise your leg. Focusing on contracting your abdominals. And let's throw some big arm circles in. Let's open those shoulders up as well. So the goal here, just waking the body up, preparing it for what we're about to put it through. All right, next we're gonna go into our up over downs. So we do a nice big circle with our knee here, and we're gonna bring it down to a full range of motion squat. And then same thing on the other side. Let me show you from the side here. So during our squat, make sure all the weight's on your heels, and you're really sitting your butt back as if you're gonna sit into a chair. And we're just alternating sides here. Exhale every time you stand up. Let's see how long this thing lasts on my shorts. I can already feel it flopping. The good news is we're not doing any plyometrics today. If you've been following me for a while or joining me with my workouts, you know I'm a big fan of plyometrics, but today is mostly just strength movements that are more controlled. It'll still be a kick-ass workout though, so don't think we won't get that heart rate up. Couple more here. Again, anytime lower body movements, make sure you're always pushing with your heels so nobody's on their toes during these squats. Always get that butt back. All right, we're gonna come into, now we've got Lady here today. She's my training assistant. She's kind of in my way though. We're gonna come into a lunge stretch here. So as if we're coming into a lunge, but we're going to bring, sorry lady, see, I shouldn't like that. You're in my spot. You're gonna bring both hands down, and the goal here is to drop the hips. So I want you to try to get this elbow all the way down to the floor. Bring it down to your ankle. As we stand up with that front leg. All the weight's on your heels as you do. So right here, we're just holding it for a couple seconds, dropping that elbow all the way down to the knee. Make sure your knee is directly over your ankle, so nobody's here, nobody's here. Knees 90 degrees. Make sure that knee stays right over the ankle. And when you stand up, make sure you stand up using your heel. So all the weight's on your heel when you stand up. And breathe out as you stand up. This one does get the heart rate elevated, which is good. Waking everything up. We're telling our joints we want full range of motion. So we go through some dynamic stretches for our warm-up here. And now we're gonna add an extra element of rotation. So we're gonna drop the elbow, and then we're gonna rotate, open our chest up. Our rotation comes at the lumbar region of our back, the lower part of our back. So we're working on waking and getting those erector spinae muscles active here. And then drop the elbow again, and we're gonna stand up, same thing. We're just adding that little element of rotation there to get our lower back prepared for everything we're gonna do today. Okay, so as you exhale, as you exhale, you're rotating. So as you rotate, exhale, and try to keep your arms stacked. What I mean is, when you rotate, see how my arms are aligned with each other? Now, if you're back here or if you're up here, you're just not gonna be able to get that full rotation there. So just try to keep the arms stacked. All right, let's go one more on each side. Rotate, drop the elbow, stand up. We've got one more. It's pretty hot here today. It's the first couple days of really nice weather that we've had. And I turned my fan off so that it's not loud for the video. And I'm feeling that lack of breeze right now. I'm already starting to sweat. So that's good. We're warmed up. So I'm going to go through each movement before we start the circuit. So get some water, have a towel nearby. If you have a mat, grab a mat, have that out. Obviously have your equipment. So I've got a heavier kettlebell here. I've got my lighter kettlebell. So this is 20 pounds, well it's actually 17.8. And then this is my 55, I think. 52.9, so 53 pound. And then I've got a dumbbell as well, because like I said, I'm going to show you how to do these exercises with a dumbbell. So this is 15 pounds, so it's not very light, but I'm going to be using all three, just depending on what muscle group we're working. So if it's a smaller muscle group, I'm going to use the lighter weight. Larger muscle group, like for legs, I'll use the heavier one. So, okay, so to get started, we're going to do a single leg deadlift to a shoulder press. So I'm going to use my lighter weight because we are doing a shoulder press here. So I'm going to start deadlifting on my left side. So my left leg stays in front. I'm going to put my right leg behind me to act as balance. But it's not really doing anything. You know, no weight really should be there, just kind of having your toe down. Most of the weight you want on that front foot. We're hinging at the waist during our deadlift. It's very easy to do these wrong, so I'm going to break these down before we dive in. A couple key points here. When you're doing your deadlift, you're hinging at the waist, not at the upper back. Your back should be nice and straight. So a deadlift, I'm going to put my hand here just so you can see my body here, but it looks like this right here. So I'm hinging at the waist. Notice I'm not doing a single leg squat or a lunge. My knee is staying relatively straight. I've got a slight bend in my knee to protect the joint, but you want it relatively straight because the idea is to work those hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. All right, so we're hinging at the waist. My back is nice and straight. And then we're just going to stand all the way up and go into a press. Okay, so again, this is what I most commonly see. So this is what not to do. Okay, can you see the difference? I'm bending at my back here, which is going to put a lot of stress and strain on your back and likely to cause injury. So deadlifting, we're hinging at the waist. If you've ever seen Legally Blonde where she does the bend and snap, I call this like doing the bend and snap. So if you're here, you're not bending and snapping. There's nothing cute about that. But if you're here, that's cute, right? That's the bend and snap. Okay, so hinging at the waist, shoulders are back, tummy's tight, chest is up, and you're coming down, keeping that knee where it is. We stand up, and we bring that weight all the way up to the sky. Okay, so, and then of course we switch sides. So that's our single leg deadlift to shoulder press. And then we're gonna grab our weight by the belly, or kettlebell by the belly, and we're gonna go into, sorry, we're not gonna grab it by the belly yet. First we're gonna grab it by the handles. We're gonna go into a goblet squat to chest press. So squatting down so that goblet hits the floor, and then we're gonna come up, squat down, and press it to the sky, okay? So we've got a slow controlled, as we come up, kind of switch, like we're throwing it in the air, we're catching it by the belly, bringing it back down again for another squat, and doing a press. And then we come back down. So here's what it looks like all by itself. During the squat, of course, all the weight's on your heels. So we are here, toss, catch it, down, press, down, down. Nice slow, toss, catch it, down, and pressing it up. Okay, that's movement number 2. And then our third movement, since we are mostly doing the legs here, I'm gonna grab my heavier weight and we're gonna go into hip thrusters, okay? This is another exercise that I see being done incorrectly all of the time. So I'm gonna show you first, and then I'm gonna break it down, okay? So with the hip thruster, notice I was exhaling every time that weight was coming forward. So we're not squatting down and bringing the weight behind our legs and then standing up, and no. This is a complete hinge motion of the hips. Again, that's gonna activate the glutes. If you're doing this squat thing, it turns into a quad exercise. It's not that it's bad, it's just not right. We're not squatting right now. We're doing that enough in today's workout. So we don't need to squat right now. So we are, again, shoulders back, chest up, tummy's tight. We've got that good posture rocking all the time. And that weight comes between our legs. And what brings it up is actually our hips hinging forward, okay? So you're not coming forward and then carrying the weight up. The weight's here, and we're bringing it up through our hips. So we're smashing that weight up with our hips, okay? Imagine if something's here and we go wham in it, right? So that's what we're doing with a hip thruster. So show you again, and then exhale. Okay, so sort of an explosive movement, I guess you can say, because it is a very fast single motion where we're squeezing our glutes, we're really hinging ourselves forward and exploding that weight up. Don't let it come all the way up here. Should be about even with your shoulders, all your joints aligned, boom, and that momentum, allow it to come back down through your legs, but control it, and then bringing it forward again with that hinge. Hopefully that explanation didn't take too much time. Now you're all cooled off. Okay, so let's get started. Now that we know what we're doing here, if you have a free weight, it's the same thing here. So our single leg deadlift with the press, right? And then with our goblet squat, hold it on the here. You could hold it here. I would prefer here because then your hands are even. If you have one hand over the other and the shoulder's working a little bit more, so to even it out, I like to grab the ends of your weights. So you would just be right here, letting it tap the ground, bringing it up, boom, boom. Okay, and then with the swings, you just grab one end of the weight here. Just be careful that you don't let it go. You'll break whatever's in front of you. All right, so now we got it. Let's get started. We're gonna go 12 on each side. So we've got our single leg deadlift with press. So that one foot comes back, we're hinging at the waist and pressing up on the exhale. So as we come up, we exhale. Tummy is nice and tight. Always think about the muscle that we're working as we go through the movement. So hamstrings, glutes, tummy, shoulder. That front foot, all the weight should be on your heel, and you should really focus on squeezing your glute. Allow your glute to be the muscle that hinges you forward. I think we got 2 more. I'm bad at talking and counting, so I usually end up having you do a couple extra. All right, we're gonna switch sides. Okay, same thing. Other side. Make sure that tummy is nice and tight. Back's nice and flat. And your eyes, like your head position, should follow the direction you're going. So notice when I'm here, my head's not here, right? I've got a nice, straight spine happening. Where are we at? We got 2 more? Something like that. Like I said, really bad at counting and talking. So, okay, now we're gonna go into our squats to chest press / shoulder press. So, with our feet a little bit wider than hip length apart, I have my toes slightly pointed out. We're gonna squat down, make sure all the weight's on your heels, tap the weight to the floor, catch it, down, and press it up. And then we come down, all right? Exhaling every time we stand up, okay? So quick breaths, you can probably hear me, but I'll go through the first couple how I'm breathing, okay? So breathing in, out, all right? Keep it going. Remember, focus on the muscle that we're working here. So we've got our glutes, our quads. Oops, see how I almost messed up there? And of course, the upper part of our chest and our shoulders. And our core is always tight, so we're always working our core. Couple more. One more. Nice work. Other things for the squats. If you're new and not familiar with form is so important. So during those squats, always make sure your knees are pointed in the same direction as your pinky toes. So what I mean by that is, as you come down, your knees aren't in. Okay, so no one stands up like this. That puts a lot of pressure on the inside of your knee. All bad. So in order to make sure all the muscles are working, we want those knees directly over our ankles. Okay, so if you're here, guess what? All the forces are coming through the knee. If you're here, then everything's coming into the muscles because they're in the position that they're supposed to be, if that makes sense. When they're not, they're stretching to go in the other position the wrong way. They're not able to contract. So you're not working them as effectively, and then you're setting yourself up for injury. All right? So knees point towards your pinky toes. Nobody's here. Nobody's like that. I don't know who would squat like that, but make sure you're on your heels and your knees follow your pinky toes, okay? All right, we've got our hip thrusters. I won't be talking during this. It's too, what's the word? Not like explosive, but I don't know. In order to breathe properly, you can't talk. So we broke down this movement. You're making sure that you're hinging at the waist. Back's nice and flat. We're doing that sexy bend and snap, right? Similar to our deadlift. Same kind of thing though. Our shoulders are back, chest is up, abs nice and tight, and all the movements coming from our hips and our glutes. Exhaling every time you push your glutes through. Here we go. We've got 15. Good work. All right, you made it through the first circuit. So let's get some water. And move that. That one definitely gets the heart rate up. Now, during a workout like this, where it's not like a HIIT workout, you actually want to take some time in between each movement so that the muscle can recover enough to push the weight the amount that we want it to. If you go too quick, then you could fatigue early, not get as much benefit long term. If you wait too long, well, then you're not burning as many calories. So, I'm gonna retie my shirt here. It's the only problem with t-shirts, right? So we're going to go back into our first movement there with our single leg deadlift. Okay. Our single leg deadlift to press. All right. We're gonna move through this one, this next 2 circuits a little bit faster, okay? Because we don't need to stop and break it down. We all know what we're doing, right? All right, here we go. So we've got that 1 foot in front, 1 foot in back on the tippy toe, and we're doing our bend and snap with the press. Exhaling every time you bring it up. Remember to think about the muscles we're working, right? So our glutes, hamstrings, abs, shoulders. Triceps are working too. You just won't feel it as much as you feel it in your shoulders, but they are assisting during that press. 2 more. And let's switch sides. I don't know what to do with this arm. I mean, normally you just hold it here, but I feel like you can't see my form as well. Let's see. Keep going. Maybe here. Not really, but it's okay. 2 more. Nice. All right, we've got our squats. Squat, squat, press. Here we go. Feet a little bit wider than hip length. Our knees come towards our pinkies. All of our weight is on our heels. And we breathe out every time we stand up. I'm gonna move my headset so you don't hear me breathing the whole time. Four more. Last one. Good work. Okay, so we do 10 of those, but really we're doing 20 squats, since 2 squats equals 1. Okay, if you're feeling lightheaded, can't catch your breath, you can always pause the workout and do what I'm doing. Walk in place, move the legs around. Anytime you're doing like lower body dominant movements, a lot of blood comes to your legs. When you stop the movement, it gets trapped. So the brain's like, what the heck, I need some oxygen. And it makes you start feeling a little bit dizzy. So to prevent that, in between sets, just keep the legs moving as we take our bit of time to recover before the next movement. All right, now we've got our hip thrusters. If you have a lighter weight, increase your repetitions. You might be going a little bit faster than me. So if you have, a lighter weight than what you think you're capable of, like if you've got a 15 pound or a 10 pound or even a 20 pound might be light, go to 20 instead of 15. All right, here we go. Okay, nice. If you finished, get some water. Make sure you complete your 15 or 20. And then keep those legs moving. Get some water. Remove hair from your mouth. Whatever you gotta do. Sweaty, guys. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's working. It's working. Okay, let's go back to numero uno. Last round. Our single leg deadlift with the shoulder press. Okay. We've got, how many did I say we were doing? I forget. 12. 12 on each side. I almost said let's do 15. 12 on each side. All right, here we go. All right, we switch sides. I'm gonna show you a way to make it more advanced. We're not gonna do it today, but if you feel like you're more advanced than this movement that we're doing, this movement I would say is more, it's in the middle. But take it up a notch. This leg suspends in the air. So it looks like this. Whoops. I need enough room. Can you still see me? Okay. And then you bring that knee up as you press. So here's what it looks like. So leg comes up, up. Whoa. My balance needs work. But that's essentially what it is, right? But the idea is to not fall over and to not let that foot touch. So boop, here. Right back down. But we're not gonna do that, but if you do this workout again, you wanna make it more advanced, start off with that. All right, here we go. Good work. All right. Now we've got our double squat press. Here we go. I gotta move this wood from my mouth, otherwise all you hear is me breathing. And it annoys me, so I can only imagine it would annoy you too. So here we go. 3 more. Last one. Nice. Good work. All right. Last but not least, our hip thrusters. Let's give yourselves a couple seconds of recovery. Keep those legs moving. Let that heart rate come down. Again, when you do this, I give you pauses in between because, like I said, we're focusing on strength today. So we don't want our heart rate super elevated. We want it elevated, but not cardio elevated, because we want to make sure we do our form perfectly. The movement is a little bit slow. Well, this movement's not that slow, but it's controlled. When your heart rate's too high, you have a hard time being more controlled. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit, and let's do it. One of the hardest parts for me was not letting the weight go. My hands are so sweaty. All right, guys, keep the legs moving. Get some water. Okay, as we prepare, I forgot a towel. Just gonna use my hoodie. For our next circuit here, I wanna just give a quick shout out to my shirt. So it says plant powered. I'm plant based, I'm vegan if you guys didn't know. But this shirt is by Sun and Sage. They're on YouTube. Well, he's on YouTube. I shouldn't say they. It's just him. I suggest going and checking him out. He is on a mission to help medicate, basically take care of a lot of the stray dogs that are in Bali. He's in Bali right now doing this. And every, what's the word? Purchase? Every purchase made from his clothing store goes directly to his efforts. Vet bills, medication, food. So go check him out. Even if you're not vegan or plant-based or vegetarian or whatever, I don't really care. He's doing a good thing. Go send him 20 bucks. It's my little thing. He doesn't pay me to do that. I just am really passionate about his mission there. Okay. So for our next movement, we're going to focus on the back. This is going to require slipping your shoes on and off. Well, okay, actually I just changed my mind because that will be too time consuming. What we'll do is we'll break I had it three movement circuit. We'll change it into a 2 movement circuit, and then the third exercise we'll do on its own because we need to be barefoot. Work our booty. All right, so grab your lighter kettlebell or free weight, whichever will work. We're gonna do a lunge bicep curl. So if you're familiar with what a lunge looks like, we go nice and wide. I want you to be able to see my front foot. Okay, so I just want to make sure your front foot is in proper position because this is key. This makes or break a lunge. Lunges can be great, but they can also be very detrimental if you do them incorrectly. So I'm going to break this down. I'm going to do it first, then I'm going to break it down. So we're lunging, curling, lunging, curling. So we've got a lunge to a single arm bicep curl. During our lunge, make sure you're stepping back far enough so that your front knee never passes your toe, okay? Your front knee should always be directly on top of your ankle, okay? I see this too much where you don't take a far enough step back. I'm just gonna hold on so I don't lose my balance looking at the camera. And this happens, right? Number one, you're not gonna be able to come down as far. Number two, you're not gonna feel it in any of your muscles. You're just gonna feel it in your knee, and in a bad way. So take a far enough step back so that when you come into your lunge, you're coming straight up and down as if you have a pole, like you're a carousel. And the pole is going through your head, down your body, out your torso, into the ground. Okay, so straight up and down here. Okay, so the weight's at your side. And then as we stand up, we're gonna do a bicep curl. If you have your free weight, then you're just holding your free weight. Okay, and then we're gonna come into a single arm row. So the arm that we're rowing, that same leg goes back. Come down on your leg, on your front leg here. Here's too high. So you want to come down on your forearm and keeping your shoulders boxed to the ground, you're just going to bring your elbow all the way up. Okay, so the weight doesn't come down and hit the floor. Lady loves when I'm sweaty. Watch out, mamas. Okay, so we're right here. So the weight doesn't ever touch the floor. So we also don't let our shoulder stretch, I guess is the right word. So I see this being done all the time where it's the range of motion is too wide. So you're coming all the way down and then all the way up with the rotation. We don't want that, okay? We want our shoulders to stay boxed to the floor. Our shoulder stays back, and it's a very small range of motion right here. Small and controlled. Okay, that's working all those muscles in your upper back on the one side. So this is our posture corrector right here. And then of course we switch to the other side. All right, so that's all this circuit is, those 2 movements. All right, so we're gonna do 12 lunges on each side. So let's get into position here. So that back foot comes back far enough so that when you bring yourself down, your knee stays over your ankle, and we exhale as we raise. So straight up and down, curl. Four more. All right, and we switch sides. Lady. Get a position you guys can see me. Okay. Straight up and down. And we curl. Oh, also, sorry. When you do your bicep curl, keep your elbow underneath your shoulder as well. So I see this done improperly often where the elbow comes up. All right, so this right here, you're not working your bicep. You're just doing movement at the shoulder. So in order to properly work that bicep, work those forearms, keep your elbow glued underneath your shoulder. If you're here, your bicep's not working. If you can only get it up doing it like that, your weight's too heavy, okay? Get a lighter weight. Or don't bring it up all the way. Bring it halfway, okay? All right, here we go. All right, good work. We've just got 12 of those. Get some water. Okay. Now we go into our single arm row. So pick your weight back up. Your one foot comes back, bracing yourself down in your forearm. And it's a nice, tight, controlled movement right there. Depending on how heavy your weight is, if it's easy, go higher. If it's hard, go less. So I'm going to 15. If you have a pretty light weight, go to 20 or 25. If it's pretty heavy, go 10 to 12. All right? Here we go. Lady, watch out. Okay, and then switch sides. If I didn't mention this, oh my God, just threw up. If I didn't mention this, you're exhaling as you bring the weight up. Okay? Here we go. Good job. Holy cow, I feel like I'm in my hot yoga studio. I just have sweat dripping off of me. It's so hot in here. I'm not complaining, it feels good. But the more you sweat, the more you gotta drink. So just make sure you're replenishing your fluids here. I know it's not this hot everywhere. My parents are in Vermont and it's snowing there, so it might be 95 here, but it's 30 degrees somewhere. Okay. The sweat keeps going in my eyes. So, let's go back to our lunge bicep curl. We got this 2 more times. You know what I really miss? So we're, depending on when you watch this video, right now we're in the quarantine time. It's April 2020. And, you know, restaurants and everything's closed. I don't have a juice maker, and I really wish that I did, because I really miss my juices. I used to go to, I would go to my local juice place, and I would get a juice every single day, 32 ounces. Why don't I just have one? I don't know, it's a good question. I never wanted to clean it. All right, here we go. Lady, watch out. Watch out, mamas. All right, we got 12 on each side. switch right into it. Watch out, baby. Good work, guys. Single arm rows. Set. Nice flat back. Here we go. So you're doing anywhere from 10 to 25, depending on how heavy your weight is or how light it is. Other side. This stupid thing. Good job, get water. I forgot to bring a bowl for Lady. Here you go. Here you go. Give her some of my water. A little more. One more. One more. Good girl. Okay, we got one more round, guys. We got our lunge, bicep curl. 12. If your weight's light, 15. If it's heavy, 12. I am not used to bicep curling that heavy. I usually use 15. So I'm feeling it. Here we go. Good job, guys. Last round. We have our single arm rows. I do this to help slow my heart rate down. The reason is because I'm now putting my head and my heart in the direction that gravity will favor the blood flow. So You know, if you're dizzy, you're supposed to put your head between your legs. That's so that gravity favors the blood flow to go to your head. Okay. Single arm rows. Here we go. Once you hit that magic number, switch sides. So again, you're either doing your 10 to 25, depending on how heavy or light. Good job, guys. Get water. We've got a little rest before we go into our next movement. Let me see. How long have we been working here? 51 minutes? Okay. Whoops. Sorry. All right, take your shoes off. Wipe any sweat from your brow. You know, another reason I'm probably sweating so much is because it's been cold. And so, you know, my body's not acclimated to the heat. So this is like the most that I've sweat without doing like a HIIT workout. I normally wouldn't be this sweaty for what we're doing today, but it's just really warm out where I am. All right, so depending on whether you have a kettlebell or a free weight, will determine how you do this next move. If you have a free weight, you don't need to take your shoes off. Sorry, if you already did. But if you have a kettlebell, we're gonna actually slip our foot through here. We're gonna do donkey kicks. So before putting the weight on, just so it's a little bit easier for me to talk, we're going to come into like a tabletop position where your hips are directly over your knees, and then you're actually gonna come down onto your forearms. So now your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. I see this mistake a lot with donkey kicks, is people push, whoops, I can't even, I need a bigger gym. People do this with their kicks. They push back. And I want you bring your heel to the ceiling, so it should look here. Okay, so anytime we're working your glutes, you want to focus on maximum contraction. So if you're pushing back, you're not getting that maximum contraction because your glutes attach here and then they attach here. So if this muscle tightens, then that whole leg should be coming up that way. If it's coming that way, you're not contracting that muscle all the way. Okay? So we're bringing our heel to the sky here. And then not all the way down. Right there. You know what? I'm actually going to bring my dog inside. Lady's hot, and I forgot to bring water. So take this time to get some water. Lady, come here. Come here. Come here, mamas. Come here. This way. Come on. Come on, come on. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, mamas. I'll be back in just a minute. Really sorry about that. I was not prepared for that. It's just too hot, and I didn't bring water out here for her, so poor thing, she's over here panting. All right, so
Let's do this with weight now. So this is just the one exercise. We're going back and forth, side to side. So we're gonna slip our foot in like this. So bottom of your foot should be out that handle. Disclaimer, be careful with this. If you have too heavy of a kettlebell, then you might not want to do this exercise. Just grab a free weight, and I'll show you what we're doing there in just a second. But if you have, an okay enough weight, I don't know how to tell you like what's a good weight or not, because everybody's different. But here's what the exercise is going to look like. I like to hold myself against something, but we're basically going to keep our ankle contracted here and bring it straight up. Okay, so it's going to take some balancing there because that weight wants to move all around. So be careful with that one. If you have a free weight, throw it behind your knee. Again, you got to be careful with this one too, because if you don't squeeze tight enough, that weight's going to come rolling down on your back and hit you in the head. So make sure that you're squeezing and the movement is right there. All right. And if both of those are too complicated, you don't need to use weight at all. You can actually just do your donkey kicks right here, just fine and dandy. So depending on how heavy of a weight you have, mine's kind of heavy for this, so I'm going to do 10 on each side. If you're just doing without the weight, go for 20. So we're just going to go side to side, exhaling every time you push your foot up. Here we go. Hit my 10, I'm going to switch sides. I'm just going to experiment with this real quick. If I wanted, I'm trying to think how I could make the ball go the other direction. Oh well, whatever. So it's pretty tricky to keep the weight in your leg in the proper position, but that's all a part of it. So it's meant to be done slow, meant to be done controlled, and just keep switching till we hit 3 on each side. I got one more round. I'm like skating all over my floor here. I'm so sweaty. I don't normally work out in shorts, but I did today because it's hot. That was my 10. That was my 3 sets of 10. So I'm gonna put my shoes back on. Get some water. Make sure you swallow down the right pipe. You can definitely tell I am no video making professional. Oh man, I wish you could see my ladies in the window just staring at me. She loves being out here, but anyway. All right, so for our last circuit here, we're gonna work more of our chest and triceps. So we're gonna start with a sit-up press. So take your dumbbell or your kettlebell, and you're gonna grab it by the belly. And I'm gonna show you the sit-up first before I use the weight, so I can talk about this for a second, because this is really important as well, to make sure you're doing this sit-up properly. When you bring yourself down, you wanna make sure, think about your back, how you have one vertebrae on top of the other, okay? When you bring yourself down, imagine your farthest vertebrae to the bottom hitting the ground first, and then the vertebrae right on top of that hitting the ground next, and then on top of that hitting the ground next. So you're kind of like rolling yourself down, and the same thing for bringing yourself up. So you bring yourself up. I'll do that better with the weight there. But I just wanna, everybody should avoid having a straight back and coming down like that. And then you should try to avoid coming up straight as well. So what that would look like is like, I don't even want to do it because I don't want to hurt my lower back. But if you're doing that, you're putting a lot of pressure, a lot of strain on your lower back. And that's why sit-ups get a really bad rep, because they're done incorrectly so often. So if you can think about rolling down and rolling up, then you're going to get the benefit from your core and save your back. So let me just show you what that looks like without the weight. So rolling yourself down, and then on the up, keep your chin tucked and roll yourself up. Okay, so like you're a ball. Think about it like that. Okay, now we're just adding an element here. We're taking our weight, and I like to hold it here. As I come up, I push it, I hold the weight farther away. That will help you sit up, and it will help you use your form properly. So let me demonstrate that again. So, and then we're gonna press it to the sky, okay? So we roll ourselves down, we roll ourselves up, and as we roll ourselves, sorry, it's so hard to talk and do this. Not a professional at all. And I don't do voiceovers, which I probably should. But yeah, so you're holding the weight away from you as you come up. That's gonna help you come up. And then we're gonna do a little chest press. And then we're gonna lay fully on our back, and we're gonna go into skull crushers. So what that looks like, if you have your free weight, you're just holding the ends during that last exercise, and you're holding the ends during the skull crusher as well. So you're flat on your back, and you want to make sure that you keep your elbows over your shoulders, and you're bringing so you're holding the belly of the kettlebell, and you're going to bring it like to your forehead and up. So here's the movement right here. So it's not, I can't go further back because I'm going to break my mirror, but you're not like bringing it back here. You're bringing the weight right here, so that your elbow stays over your shoulder the entire time. And when you're here, you're really squeezing your triceps. So nice and controlled, exhaling right there. All right, and then, for our third movement, I'm gonna have to move, I think, here. So, again, holding the belly of your weight, and we're gonna come up into a plank position, and we're gonna bring the weight, can I reach the floor? Yeah, to the floor, back to the chest. Oh, my ponytail's not gonna do well for this. I'm gonna have to change my hairstyle for that one. All right, so that's our circuit. I'm gonna move my phone down a little bit more here. Amateur hour. Oh my God, sorry. Okay. This workout should only be an hour, but I think because I stop and explain things so much, we're going over an hour. So sorry about that. I don't know how else to do it. All right, so let's do our sit up with a press. We're gonna exhale on the way up. We get 10 of these. One more. Okay, and then bring yourself back. We've got our skull crushers. Scoot back a little bit. All right, this is why it's over an hour, is because I do annoying stuff like this. I gotta take my ponytail, get a little bit higher. Ladies, I know you understand this struggle. Alright, this way your head's flat on the ground. I don't need to worry about stupid ponytail holder. Alright, so pick that weight up, grab it by the belly, and we've got our skull crushers. Don't actually crush your skull. Right? Don't anybody actually crush your skull. So exhale right here as you're bringing the weight up. We have 15. Alright, now digging with the heels, get those hips off the ground, and we bring our weight back and up over the chest. Okay, so now we're working chest, shoulders, triceps, and our booty. Okay, so exhale as you bring it up. Wait, I got all kinds of interference here. Oh, did my thing die? Hello? What happened? Hold on. I don't know. Oh, I gotta plug my thing in. So sorry, you guys. Gosh. Such an amateur here. Sorry about that. Okay. I need to move this too. Get out of my way. Alright, so we're on our back. And digging with our heels, so our glutes are engaged. And we bring that weight over our chest, tap the handle to the floor. And good. Okay, let's go back into our sit-ups with the press. Right into it. Here we go. Okay, and our skull crushers. Here we go. aiming for 15. Unless your weight's too heavy, go for 10 to 12. If it's really light, go 20 to 25. Okay, that's a rule of thumb for everything. All right, get those hips up. Digging with the heels, squeezing those glutes. Here we go. Tap the weight to the ground, the handle to the ground. Exhale, raise. I'm holding it like this. I don't know if you guys can see. I have like one finger, like my finger and my thumb are together, and the three, so I'm totally like around the belly. That's how I like to hold it. Going for 15. Nice. All right, guys, we got one more round. One more round. So we got our sit-up press, 10 of them. Good work. Skull crushers. In case anyone here, I'm going to do a close-up of how I'm holding this. Okay, that's how I'm holding it. All right. Let's do some skull crushers without actually crushing our skull. Last round, guys. We're done after this. 15. Good. Our last exercise, get those hips up. I just had like the thought of, oh my God, what if you're not recording? Totally suck. Okay, so digging with the heels. Tuck those shoulders underneath you. Hips up nice and high. Really squeeze that booty. Here we go. Good work. Awesome job, guys. Those of you at home, I'm just assuming you did an awesome job. You hung with me. You're here to the end, so you deserve a round of applause. Thanks, guys, for putting up with some of my technical difficulties there. That was a really great workout. I'm glad you allowed me into your living room or wherever you're working out to do this workout with me. Comment your thoughts. If you have any questions, I look at everything, so feel free to reach out to me. You can always email me as well. My company email, quadcityfitnessoc@gmail.com. Otherwise, go enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Take good care of yourselves, and join me again next time for a different kind of workout.